Hello and welcome back to the Gold Advantage on the Bo3 Network. Today's episode is covering the LCS. We just did the LEC episode. I think I'm uploading that one first, but maybe not. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. But there'll be a link to whichever episode I do so up there by Scoot or Chris, whichever way it is.
Are you okay?
Something's going wrong with Mr. BNB over there. But yeah,
no, I think he's talking about you and your
Why?
intro.
What's wrong?
I'm talking about you. Your intro antics. You're all over the place there. You just did it. No, you just jumpy. Just a little usual. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, because I was like, let's get through it.
That guy's got some. He's got some
I
fire.
was like, let's get through it.
How about
I was trying to keep it snappy because BNB's tired, and he's like, I just want to go to sleep. But Scoot,
I just want
apparently-
to comment on this brand new hoodie that I have.
Yeah.
I want to comment on this brand new window
Yep.
I have, but he's got the better
These
merch.
two were at the LCS Championships all weekend, taking it in. We were there for a lot longer on Saturday than we were on Sunday because one of those was best of three. Great name. And
It's
best of five, but they won three. I know. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Man, what a fucking final.
Dude, I mean, that intro for Final Sunday was fucking lit.
Did you get the download?
I gotta download it, but I mean, I
Nikki,
saw it live, but like,
Nikki,
that,
yeah, you can upload it. You can
holy-
download it as well. I took a full cinematic 7.5 minute video of the entire intro.
Well, you guys did share.
I mean,
I was gonna save this.
It's uploaded.
Since
It
you're
is
slandering my intro. I will say, just no content from you two. It's very disappointing.
No, I know.
What
Like
do you mean?
for a
We uploaded
content
a
company, you
podcast.
guys were banging on about it. I'm like, no tweets, no videos.
Oh, we sent tweets.
No.
We were under strict
YouTube,
embargoes. We were under strict
no
embargoes not to be posting
YouTube
videos.
shorts. You guys are dreadful. Anyway, what was not dreadful
All right,
was the LCS
listen.
finals, which, as I said, was. I mean, the production value is always incredible. You guys did a nice little recap of the 100 Thieves EG matchup, which I wasn't able to tune into. It's unfortunate the finals went the way they did. I did expect more from 100 Thieves. They threw away two
Way
leads. It's just a shame. I think they're better than that, and this unfortunately is a bit of the crux. I think they are, but they're not. Like, either you have a potential
Using
ceiling
that word again.
and the ability
you
to
really
reach.
have no issue. They beat
Because
a
it's
hampered
3 finals
EG
now they've
team. Like
reached.
they're a top 4 team.
I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're better than them winning last split. To be honest, I expected way more out of them. Like, I think their peak potential was last year, and I think Cloud9 just showed you that it's not too difficult to beat a roster that can smoke them.
I mean, Cloud9 played out of their mind.
Listen,
Berserker is just
He died
insane.
once.
Cloud9's
He died once.
Cloud9 is one of the best teams to come out of North America and go to an international tournament in the last.
They're
Well, I mean,
Worlds.
but also historically, Cloud9 has, even when they haven't won, they are the best international
They
North
come out of
American
groups.
team. Full stop. Like,
They come out of groups
Every
every
time.
time. They came out of the fucking
They reached
EDG T1
semifinals.
group. Like, what was it, 2
they
years
reached
ago?
semifinals, all of it. They are
Insane.
And I just think, like, this was a game or series where one team was just so much better, so much more prepared. I didn't love the drafting from 100 Thieves. I thought some of the executions. And unfortunately, I just don't think this roster is going to stay together because despite their potential, this is now 2 splits in a row where they're not reaching it. And I think that's unfortunate because they should be really contending with the top. They have the talent. And I'm not sure who they drop, but I don't know. That's not for me. But yeah,
I would
Cloud9.
drop FBI.
I actually think
Alright,
he might be, yeah. Because closer Ssumday, no way. I think Huki played really well. But I think it's Abadage, FBI, and Huki. And I know a lot of people are looking at Abadage, who was the best mid laner, but then he's been too inconsistent.
I'm no longer inspired by FBI.
All right.
Like, it's funny saying the word
It
inspired.
has not been a good year for him. I will say
It
that.
has not been a good year.
Anyway, going back to...
It's hard
Yes?
to like 100 Thieves drafts. Like, a lot. Because I think... I mean, I think they were up... It's like they took off a bigger bite than they could chew, right? Like with C9 in a way, because
what's so funny is I love their draft. Like in the second game, when you have Zeri, Silas, Fiora, Lulu, and Jarvan, like that was
their best.
That was a good fucking.
That
draft.
one was good. But game one, taking Malphite.
Okay, yeah, but the
game one Malphite. Like, what are you doing with that? And he's going into Magic.
But they're stuck in a situation where you have to counter, like you have to leave Fudge with a counter pick to that, and like Fudge's champ pool is extremely wide. And actually, wait, did they pick Malphite?
I actually don't think them. I think it's not about Fudge so much. It's about just the whole comp, because you have LeBlanc mid lane, you have Zeri, which is the mixed magic damage. LeBlanc obviously massive burst, and so he has to build magic resistance. But the whole point of Malphite is armor. And so when you can't build armor, it's just like, what are you doing? Why not take a...
Well, yeah, but I will say, I like the strat from C9 and the engage and just leaving Fudge as the last pick and making sure that like you got on a situation where you can use Nocturne and also use Kennen at the same time. And we saw it in the one team fight.
Blaber on Nocturne is just fucking next level.
Huge.
Oh,
absolute nightmare.
He took such a step up. He really did. Yeah. And it's just like, there's so many things around this where I wasn't impressed by closers. Poppy, that was something I thought he struggled with. But it's just like
all weekend.
I think we're talking about losers, unfortunately, more. But really, across the board, Cloud9 just looked good. Jensen was playing really well. He really stepped it up, I think, across all of playoffs. Sven and
had
Berserker,
like fucking 40 assists between 2 games.
Sorry, who?
Yeah, and then he said support is easy.
Sven, yeah.
Had like
Sven
40 assists between 2 games.
It's insane.
Support is easy.
Berserker we talked about.
I don't count the cat assists. Those don't count for me. Sorry.
You got to count the cat assists.
But every game was like...
when it's Sven, you know?
It's just a shame because there were opportunities and moments where, I think 100 Thieves could have won, but they just couldn't get the early game going, and Cloud9 just didn't let them do anything.
Dude, but when Cloud9 was behind, they also didn't open themselves up to the mistakes that allow you to lose a game, like, quickly. And they, like, got their picks when they needed to. They did a very good job of that. Like, so, I mean, it's easy to talk about losers, right? And, like, what they threw away, but I think at the same time, like, Cloud9 just played
so well. And you see this, like, game 3 for Dragons. I think there was so many things, just like the intangibles of the way Cloud9 was controlling Drake, the amount of towers that they were taking, their map rotations.
I think at one point they had like every single scuttle crab too. Like they were getting, and this is like such like a small thing, but it matters for vision in the river. Like they were getting like every scuttle crab. They were going south to north, getting fucking Rift Heralds followed by dragons, and just their map command was impressive, and it is why I'm picking them to win Worlds.
I'm actually so excited to see them at Worlds, because this is one, you have Jensen, who is the winningest North American international player. I think this is Fudge's second World, so it's going to be really good to see how he has matured as a player and kind of grown and gone there. Berserker seems to be clicking and doing really well. We just need Fudge to hopefully have learned from last year's one and his performance last year.
I think Fudge has learned a lot. Especially, he switched positions for like a split. Yeah, he shows up in the intro video and he says, you can have your Bjergsen, you can have your double lift. I'm the greatest player in LCS history.
I actually think he's up there. I mean, he also cried at the end with how humble he was about
Fudge.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Blaber.
No.
No, I was talking about Blaber.
Fudge.
Yeah, I was saying Blaber is like the Fudge. Yeah, Fudge has always been like that.
But it's awesome, and he also has a very deep fucking top lane champ pool now, and I think that will make him competitive internationally.
I do find it hilarious when him and Blaber stand next to each other, because Fudge is a mountain and Blaber is like tiny.
Well, you look at the
just like this.
But if you look at the roster, it's like a bad internet signal to good one, because like you've got Sven, who's fucking
is tall
huge
and
too,
skinny.
And
I know.
3 guys in the middle.
They got to figure out how to get them to line up
5'6"
in a better way.
The irony of Scott's internet going out while talking about a bad internet signal was too good.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, that's why we record locally.
I don't know. There's not really much else for me. I just think like the whole team on Cloud9 just played so well. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to execute it. Drafts were good. It's just, and it's exciting because we don't have a huge gap until Worlds. It's not like we're waiting a month until it starts. It's 2 weeks till play-in start, 2 or 3 weeks, I think. Play-in start, and then we're getting kicked off. And so there's kind of time for them to keep carrying this momentum on. And it's in North America. So
and look, if you didn't listen to the LEC or watch the LEC version of this episode, I'm going to pull the same rigmarole on Nikki, because he so perfectly led me into Worlds here and everything going on. Worth noting, Cloud9's odds, and we will cover all of Worlds much more in depth, but Cloud9's odds are currently sitting at 53.61, so right in between Rogue and G2, and then you have 100 Thieves at 118.72, as well as EG. So I think that the odds makers know that Cloud9's the only legitimate option.
Do you guys actually
Cloud9's winning
Cloud9
Worlds?
can win?
No, I legitimately think that Cloud9 is gonna win this
do you
year.
think they'll reach, what's the minimum they'll reach?
I think the minimum they'll reach is quarterfinals. I think the maximum.
I agree.
See, but quarterfinals is nothing impressive. I feel like that they have to reach quarterfinals. See, unless if the minimum they reach isn't semis,
I would give them a semi.
You said-
It kind of depends on who you match into.
But the next thing after quarterfinals, you said what's the minimum that they definitely reach?
Yeah.
I just said quarterfinals. Semis is like ridiculous.
yeah.
That's
So
the top
you
4
don't
teams.
think they're that good?
Well,
No,
no, because then you
Cloud9 is legitimately
because then what you
winning.
were supposed to say is, well, what's the maximum they can reach? And I legitimately believe they could win Worlds.
I think they'll win.
Yeah.
Worlds.
So, but then I would say
think they
the team
will
that can win
Worlds.
Worlds, the lowest that is acceptable is semis for me. A Worlds title contender not reaching semis,
But that's
is
so
like,
difficult to say because of like who you can draw in
Totally.
certain situations and like what teams get hot at a certain time. Like that seems
Also, the meta's
going
going
to
to change.
Like
The
2 years
meta's
ago,
gonna
you would have said
change.
that like the minimum for FPX is like semifinals.
This meta
and
right
they got
now,
fucking bounced in groups, right?
was prioritizing bottom lane, and Berserker was playing fucking world class bottom lane, and so
Berserker's about to hold his own against T1.
Should the meta
Forward
shift
team.
and then emphasize somewhere else? When you are emphasizing different lanes or different like regions or different sides or whatever, you need those players to play at a fucking top world class level. I think Cloud9 can do it. I think no matter what, quarterfinals, I think I will definitely put a taste of them in the semifinals, and maybe a small taste in the finals, and the smallest of taste on them to win it all. But
I think what I meant, just to clarify, is one of those
small
things.
Taste. Like Cloud9 is winning Worlds.
FPX
I'm going
not
to put
reaching
can't even
a lot of
argue
money
against
on
you.
it.
You had who?
That's what I mean. Is like that's what I'm saying. Is like at what point is a failure? And to me, if Cloud9 only reaches quarters, that's a failure for this roster.
But look at this.
For
1,
what you
2,
guys are
3,
saying, for
4,
the level
5,
for the
6,
level of
7,
success
8,
that you
9.
think that they can be.
They're currently ranked. They're currently ranked 10th
like they're winning
in odds.
Worlds.
They're
It's
currently
not-
ranked 10th in odds behind
It's
all
not
of
just, like,
China
they
and
can.
Korea. That's the first 8, and then that's the first 9, and then that's the first 8. Then you get Rogue, and then Cloud9.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfair because I feel like this C9 team right now is better than like what they've put out in like an LNG or whatever. And by the way, I love LNG's jerseys and love the org altogether, but I do feel like the C9
Do you go just looking
team
at
is
every
better.
team's jersey?
No, when they
No, do
were
you
in
not remember?
Worlds.
There's
2
a-
Oh,
years
I think you
ago.
meant
I
this
actually
season's
read a
one.
little-
I was
No,
like,
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
he's just going
I
checking
read-
every team's
I mean,
jersey.
I think they're
saying he'll buy
pretty
it
ugly,
if they
but
win.
I
never
read.
do.
I actually read something
Yeah.
about this because I guess there's a huge beef in China about who does the world's jerseys every year.
Really?
And it's like some huge Chinese sporting company and Nike.
okay.
And it's like, and one of them gets all the
And
jerseys.
that's it. Like,
or
it's
they
just-
don't get any.
Well, I guess
Yeah,
it's like the
it's
NFL.
just-
Don't they have like it's like a Nike or Under Armour deal and one
Nike. Nike.
I don't know how it works, but Nike makes some fucking fire
they're
jerseys
one of
for
the best
Worlds.
companies.
So,
biggest in the world.
So it's almost like they
of
do
course,
it
I mean,
for their.
yeah, but it takes some
right?
touch to get the esports in there. All right, now let me be clear again. It's not just C9 might win Worlds. It's C9 is winning Worlds. This is their year. We're coming back to America again. Do you know the last time
true.
that Cloud9 as an
Worlds is
organization
on
had a
US
chance
soil.
to win a major tournament on U.S. soil? Do you know
Yes,
what
they won
happened?
Boston. Counter-Strike.
In 2018 in
They
Boston?
won Worlds. They
won the
were world
ESL.
champions. They got to finals.
Yes.
They got to finals?
Yes, and it was Cloud9, of course. It's NA's last hope.
They got to
Look,
finals.
I will say.
No, they beat FaZe Clan, the European super team, in Counter-Strike. So,
So nothing.
Put that.
So what
your
happened
juice box
last
and
time?
suck
Worlds
it.
was in America. Cloud9 finished exactly where they always did. Like,
Listen, I'm telling you.
what's funny is YouTube, especially you,
right?
BNB, I am shocked because you're always like, if you don't win, you're fucking nothing. Whereas here, you're like, if they reach quarterfinals, it's been a really impressive performance by them.
That is a
because,
different question. You are completely.
He said minimum.
You are literally changing the question after the answer.
No, my question what is the
you are
minimum
now-
acceptable
fucking
finish?
dictionary.
What's the minimum acceptable
you are now,
finish? To
you
me,
are now the
semis.
Twitter edit button. You're the Twitter edit button.
It's semis. It's
Yeah, look at
semis.
him.
It's
He's
the
editing his-
minimum acceptable. They've reached
I think you have
quarters.
a
Quarters is not
different
impressive.
Definition of
Correct.
acceptable.
If you say
is a
they are the
language
best,
barrier.
if you say they are the best team in the last 5 years, they can't achieve what other teams have achieved every year in the last 5 years.
Has any LCS team ever made semis? Ever?
Yeah, Cloud9.
When?
I think it was 2018. No, maybe. Yeah, once they did.
Okay.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna Google this now, but they have. Yes, there's once they did,
They are
and
the
I'm pretty
only
sure it was
org
the
in
Cloud9
North
roster with
America
high.
capable of
2018 against Fnatic.
Yeah, and it was a good series.
Yeah.
Was it 3-2?
I also
3-2.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
I feel like it was 3-2.
I don't know.
I mean, realistically, the only team that really stands in their way is T1.
Ooh, I don't know. T1 just lost to Gen G.
No, because they lost a lot of trust in Gumayushi, and he had a pretty bad split overall. But I was reading some Do and B stuff recently, and meta's switching back towards top jungle, and they have
that.
some absolute fucking demons.
They lost 0-3
we
to
know
Fnatic
that.
in the semis.
Oh, shit.
They beat
That's unfortunate.
Afrika Frex 3-0 to make semis, but then they lost.
And that, Fnatic got to Worlds final. G2's made it. It was good. It was a good series.
This is it's also the 10th year of the LCS.
I mean, we had 2 3-0s. Quite nice of them to kind of keep our time, tight. Didn't drag out too much after we've had 19 out of 20 games every single weekend for the last couple of weeks.
the only team that was
Just Cloud9. Scoot,
outside of that, at
unfortunately,
least in the
his
last few weeks.
Oracle
Yeah.
Oracleness did not work on the LCS this
No,
year.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I'm not surprised because I bet against the team that I root for the most, and I
Yeah.
deserve this. It worked everywhere else, and it worked all around the world
did.
this year. So if you really want to get into the weeds of it, I probably made a lot of people a lot of money.
I'm sure the EG and the
so-
Rogue, that's like, if you followed on that.
Yeah, that's primo shit.
And the
right?
G2 in
Like,
spring.
that's some
G2,
pretty good stuff.
G2, EG spring, and then Rogue summer.
Yeah,
Huge.
if you
Yeah,
chose between the three of us perfectly, you could have made a lot of money.
You could have, yeah.
And I mean, listen, end of the day, I'm very happy with like all three outcomes that could have happened in the LCS. But this one, I think, is the most rewarding in a way, because what I've looked back on now is kind of the pictures of Max afterwards, the C9 coach, and like seeing him raise that trophy. And I think it's something that like he's worked on for a while, and LS talked about it. Like LS even congratulated them. He was like, "This makes me so happy to see. Like this guy's worked for it." But like he comes from a situation where you kick out LS, lose a shitload of fans, or have a bunch of people turn on you, and then you absolutely say, "Fuck
And you're
it,"
also
and just win the
struggling.
chip.
You're struggling. You're looking mediocre. People are like, you can't fix it. And the fact that they and this is, I talked about this in the last video. It's like week to week, you couldn't look at what happened regular season. They changed, and this happened in the LEC as well. Is like teams on a dime went from looking mediocre to suddenly being champs. And I mean, Cloud9 100% deserved this. They were such a good team, and it was so nice to see them win so cleanly. Anyway, last thoughts?
That was the thing. By the way, that was the thing for me. You summarized there at the end, which is what I wanted to say, which was, look, I'm not a Cloud9 fan. I would have probably EG was my number one pick, then Cloud9, then 100 Thieves. But what was comforting to see was that Cloud9 maintained their momentum and just fucking showed up and absolutely dominated.
Scoot?
I mean, I agree. It's cool to see for a lot of players, and Jensen also finally won with C9.
Yeah.
But it was a sick event, and also thank you for the LCS for having us.
Yep,
it was great.
But it was awesome to be there. It was awesome to see the stage on
Thank you,
ground
Story
floor
Mob.
and then see that
Thank you,
entire
LCS.
intro. Yeah,
It was great. Thank you
That's about
to
all I
our
have to say.
fans
This
for
merch is
tuning in.
also sick.
We appreciate it. Our videos have been doing great, so we love it. So much for all of the
Keep
support.
commenting.
Please keep it up. Please comment.
Bad news to our friend. We're picking Cloud9.
You can find.
He's gonna be.
You can
pissed.
find all of our content on social media at Bo3 Network. Please subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, a comment. We really appreciate it. Otherwise, we have a Discord. If you want to jump in and join us for Worlds, that would be great. We'll be covering play-in groups and kind of the odds for Worlds opportunities, our way too early picks. Next week, we have a couple of videos coming up prior to Worlds, which is happening on the 29th, I believe. So we'll see you all then. Thanks, everyone, for your support, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Toodaloo.
Peace out.